Hey, what's up, guys? Coach Mac, play fast football. All right, going to do something a little bit different today. Instead of techniques, fundamentals, schemes, X's and O's, just going to talk a little bit philosophically about a current trend in football, which is 7-on-7. All right, with we're talking about 7-on-7 tournaments. We're talking about 7-on-7 leagues and some other things. Make sure you check out our sponsors. All right, MAXone app is a platform that allows you to organize, message your team, organize your calendars, your practices, and set up workouts for your players. You can set up different workouts, individual workouts. The kids get the workouts on their phone. You can chart. It has a leaderboard for competition. It has a way for you to chart who's doing what with each set in the weight room. If kids go out of town, they can have their workout without having to worry about calling and saying, "Hey, coach, what's a workout? Can you take a picture of the board? Can you send me the workout?" Kids have it right on their phone. You can send messages through the app. You can also organize your practice schedule, calendars. You can do camps through there. So it's a great platform to really streamline all that information. All right, GameStrat sideline replay system we use. #1, most reliable, most affordable sideline replay system out there. All right, great guys, great customer service. All right, doing a lot of good things. We used it last year. We're going to use it again this year. So extremely happy with our experience with GameStrat. JustPlayFB is the company I use for digital software. So if I am drawing up stuff for webinars, if I am drawing up stuff for clinics that I speak at, that's the diagram tools I use. All right, JustPlayFB also has some unique features about it where you can set up game plan features and you can attach clips from your opponents and put things in there, and you can make quizzes up. Your kids have to take the quiz and answer stuff about the game plan. Now you know where your kids are within the game plan. Do they understand the game plan? Do they get what parts do they get, what parts do they not get? So now when you go to practice, you understand what you need to work on more of or less of. All right, so it's a great diagramming tool, and it's also a great tool to take your program to the next level to help you understand what your kids understand within your game plan. All right, Defensive Coordinator 1 is an in-game app that was developed in January. This will be the first football season with it being used. All right, looking forward to using the product. It's an in-game app that allows you to use live, real, in-game data to go ahead and make critical adjustments to your calls. So, originally set up as a defensive app, but I think it's going to work on both sides of the ball. So now you go in with a game plan. You have tendencies that you think the other team is going to be first down, second down, third down, what their personnel is, what they like to do from each personnel group, runs and passes, field or boundary, strong and weak, quick to drop game. All the tendencies that you have laid out and that all our digital editing systems now break up for us. And you go into the game with your call sheet, you worked on it all week, you got everything ready to go, you start calling a game, and they're not the same. Well, now instead of charting it by hand and having to figure out, well, I think they're doing this and more of this, now you can actually use live in-game data, put it in while the game's going on, match your calls up, start looking and saying, hey, they're doing more of this on first down or more of this on second down, or hey, we called this 303 deep pressure to 2x2 and it was absolutely outstanding, called it to 21 personnel and got smoked. It's not a bad call, it's just a bad call in that situation. So gives you, while using that real live in-game data, it allows you to kind of match your calls up, change your calls, make adjustments, and I think it's going to be a great product to use, and I'm excited about using it this fall. All right, and then Dome Hats, which is our sponsor here at Play Fast Football. All right, and Dome Hats is a local company that is founded by 2 former Florida football players, so they're former athletes themselves, played football at the University of Florida, understand what we go through. All right, they want to help coaches and they want to help sports and teams in general and schools in general, and they want to get to every state. They want to help every sport. They want to get to every staff. Everybody uses hats, whether it be for fundraising, morale, swag, part of your team uniform, all right? Whatever it may be, everybody uses hats, so Dome Hats wants to make sure that they are getting into every school with every hat and every staff. So check them out, all right? Dome Hats, it's a great product, great company, former football players, so they're looking to help. All right, so as we talk about this today, unless you've been kind of coaching under a rock for the last 10, 15 years, you know the prevalence of 7-on-7, where it's come from, where it's going, or where it is right now. So I thought I'd just do a little bit of my opinion like I do on most of these videos on the good, the bad, the ugly of 7-on-7. So when 7-on-7 originally started coming out, at least I'll speak for us in the state of Florida where I am. What happened was there was a period between fall football and spring football where you couldn't do anything out on the field with your players with a football. So leading into the spring, when it came time to install and you wanted your quarterbacks or receivers throwing, or you wanted your DBs or linebackers or running backs with any type of ball skills or ball drills, you couldn't do anything legally with your players. you could only be doing things, strength and conditioning, running, lifting, and then you couldn't be out there with your players with a football. So your kids had to go out and throw on their own, and we all know how that works. If you could give them a set program that you wanted to do and give your quarterback and say, hey, all right, look, I want 25 quick hitches and then 25 quick slants, and then I want 25 quick fades, and then I want drop back curls and drop back digs, and you can give that to the kids, and depending on the types of kids that they are, you don't know how that's going to go. You don't know once they get out there what they're going to do, because technically coaches weren't supposed to be out there with players and a ball. So what started happening is when 7-on-7 started developing with these leagues and tournaments and exposure type deals, what started happening was kids started finding a way to start playing in these events, and they started playing in these things. And what started happening was coaches started saying, well, I really don't want my kid playing for other people. I don't want him being coached by other people. I don't know what he's learning. I don't know what their terminology is. And then even more so, at least where we're at in the state of Florida, kids started playing for other teams, and then next thing you know, they disappear from your team, and they end up at that school playing for that high school. So what Florida allowed a couple years ago, going back now, is they allowed a company to come in. It was FHS 7v7. It was a third-party company run by a football coach in Florida, and it allowed high school coaches to have 7-on-7 with their high school players. They had to sign up, they had to have insurance, you had to fill out waivers, and allowed you to do 7-on-7 with your players so coaches could be out there on the field with a football. So that now you could start doing ball drills, you could do quarterback drills, receiver drills, you could do things with your linebackers and your DBs. And it was all legal, and it was all the stuff that guys wanted to be doing, and you could do it at your school, all right, and you could do it, and now your kids, if they wanted the exposure, all right, to 7-on-7, and because we all know what kids want to do, they want to throw balls, they want to catch balls, they want to run routes, they don't want to do a route on air and say, hey, I want you to run this curl route precisely from 12 back to 10 the right way and then frame the ball, but there's no ball coming. It's a mad. Kids don't do that anymore, all right? That's 30, 40, 50 years ago, and you're playing in the street, maybe you didn't have a ball, or somebody mocks throwing a ball and you're mocking your batting swing at the plate, and kids don't do that anymore. They don't do anything dry, or they don't do anything. They want instant results, so they want to catch balls and they want to throw balls. So you got to understand that where we're at, kids want to do that, and as a coach, you got to find a way to get kids to do that. So now for us, the third-party system allowed us to start working with our kids. Well, then what started happening was obviously the kids didn't want to go compete. They want to be in tournaments. They see all this stuff on social media. They want to go compete. They want to go play other people. So then you go to these tournaments and you start to compete, and now we get into all the goods, the bads, and the uglies, in my opinion, of 7-on-7. All right, first of all, the good. Anytime kids are playing football, they're not out in the street, they're not doing dumb stuff. They're working on, essentially throwing, catching, breaking, opening as a linebacker, open and hook the curl, driving on balls. Anytime they're doing that, to me, it's inherently good. Don't think it can ever be totally bad. Anytime you get to work on your terminology with kids, your route packages, all right? If you have any shift, trades, or motions, and you're working on your different formations and your shifts and your trades and your motions to get in and out of those sets. Anytime you can work on physically on the quarterback dropping and taking proper drops and getting rid of the ball. Anytime receivers can run precise routes with steps, all right, have to find windows in coverage, catch a ball in traffic, all good. Anytime you can work on your defensive structure, how you call your defense into your kids, all good. Anytime your kids have to hear the terminology or see the signals of what you're sending in, all good. DBs breaking on balls that they physically have to drive on and get one or two hands on, good. Linebackers trying to get in passing windows, all good. All right, all things that I don't think you can replicate, they're all good. Where's the bad in 7-on-7? Well, here's where the bad comes in. As soon as you start going to tournaments and leagues and competition and a scoreboard, all right, teams are going to start running things for 7-on-7 success purposes. All right, so one of the first years we did it, we were playing against a local team that we had played in seasons past. They were a flexbone team, very good option team, really good athletes, really good at what they did. We go out in 7-on-7 and they're empty the whole time. So I said to the coach, Coach, how realistic is this when you know you're a flexbone team that threw the ball 5 times against us and now you're empty every play? Well, we got to work on it in case we ever use it. Okay, you can't argue with another coach. I don't know. You're not going to tell somebody they're lying. But statistically, I played in games where we played teams that threw the ball 5 or 6 times a year. Whether they were flexbone, wing T, single wing, all right, 21, 22 personnel, whatever they were, you know for a fact you've been playing a team for 15 years, 10 years, 8 years, 7 years, and every year you play them, they throw the ball 6 times a game. Then you go play them in 7-on-7, and they're 2x2, 3x1 are empty the whole time. how realistic is that? All right, how realistic is it? Your kids are getting a chance to play, and I think that's fine. But if you're playing a common opponent, I think it's a little bit flawed because now all of a sudden somebody's in there doing things for 7-on-7 purposes. They're not working on their flex bone passing game, and they're not working on their wing T passing game, or they're not working on their 21-22 personnel passing game. Now, there are some guys and coaches out there that do. God bless them. All right, so for me, I wanted to control 7-on-7 settings to where I wanted our kids to compete, but I wanted to go play schools where I knew, hey, coach, are you going to go 2x2 and send a tailback right down the middle, vertical every play if I'm middle of the field open? Are you going to go 3x2, 4x1 empty, or are you actually going to run your offense and do your things? And so I started to try and control who we would play in 7-on-7s. All right, bad part of 7-on-7s. Now that you're doing 7-on-7s, if you're not playing against other people and you're not competing in tournaments, your kids are going to find teams that are. Once they find teams that are, then they're going to find teams that happen to be locally located around your area. Your kids end up playing at other places because you are not doing the things in the off-season that the kids want to do. So again, as a coach, I don't think you necessarily run your whole program and appease kids, but you got to understand that there's things that kids like to do. If they can't find it at your place, they're going to find it somewhere else. So I think the bad, all right, along with, teams being empty all the time, teams running, all right, on defense, teams come out and they're man under 2 deep. And you say, okay, all right, how are you going to fit runs like that? I'm 2x2, you got 5 guys in the box. You're going to be able to fit runs like that? If I run 4 verticals, what are you going to, and your guys run off with 2 high safeties, your 5 guys in the box are going to be able to fit quarterback runs? Oh, no, yeah, coach, we fit all that. We fit all that. No, yeah, coach, we good. All right, so man under 2 deep, you can fit all those runs. We played against you last year. I never saw a man under 2 deep one time except for maybe 3rd and 20 or whatever it is. So you start to see coverages, and now your quarterback isn't processing the coverages that you need him to process that he's going to see in games because he's processing man under 2 deep. Now you're trying to run all picks and rubs and other things, which is good. You need to do it anyways. You're going to see man defenses, but are you going to see man under 2 deep, that much at a time? Or is your quarterback going to see that one coverage 50 snaps in a row? No, those things are just being done to win 7-on-7 tournaments, right? So then when you get into those situations, are you really teaching your kids what they need to do? So here's what we did. We entered those tournaments because we had to legally within the rules. We ran our offense, we ran our defense, told our kids, hey, we're going to run our stuff, we're going to get better at running our stuff. We think it's going to help us in the future, all right? You get in a game, you don't win the game, other teams are running 5 verticals out of empty and they're running man under 2 deep and your kids start to get frustrated. That, to me, I think is a bad part of some of the 7-on-7 stuff. Here's another bad part about 7-on-7. I think a lot of teams in high school better understand that you are going to develop your football team around running the football and stopping the football because the game we live in, at least where I am, all right, and from what I've seen for 20 years, you're going to play probably 90% of the teams you play are going to run the ball 75% of the time, all right? You're going to want to run the ball. It's how you develop your identity as a football team. So unless you're a team that is truly an old school air raid team, all right, or, and a team that's going to throw the ball 40, 50 times a game, you're a run and shoot team. If that's who you are, then I think all these 7-on-7s fit you, fits your team. I don't think it fits your defense, though, because you're not stopping runs. When your kids play 7-on-7, when they break to the ball, they never break down and make tackles. They run by and try and get 1 or 2 hands on somebody. All right, your ball carriers make 9 million moves in space. I think it creates some bad habits for kids. All right, it's like, I relate it to golf all the time. I'm about a 1 or 2 handicap currently right now, played golf in college. I relate it to golf. Everybody wants to go out and buy a $500 driver. They want to figure out how to hit their driver better. They want to figure out how they can hit it longer. They want to figure out, all the things they need to do, but yet they only use a driver 12 to maybe 14 times max in a round, but yet your putter is something you're going to use 25 to 35 or 40 times around, depending on how good or bad you are. All right, so why are you going to spend twice as much money on a driver than you do on a putter when you're going to use a putter, however 60 to 70% more than you use a driver. You use a driver 14 times, use a putter on a good round 30 times or 28 times or 32 times or whatever it may be. You're using the putter twice as much as you use the driver, but you're spending twice as much of your money on the driver. Then you go to the driving range and you spend 90% of your time on the driving range and 10% on the putting green, although those shots on the putting green are what's going to be what helps you score. It's the same thing when you're playing 7-on-7. You spend all your time trying to develop a philosophy, trying to establish a mindset for kids, trying to go out and say, we're going to stop the run and we're going to run the football. You go play 7-on-7, your kids, they don't tackle, they get bad angles, they lean, they reach. Your ball carriers don't go north and south, they juke and jive all over the place. I think it creates some bad habits. All right? Where's the ugly of 7-on-7? If you've watched 7-on-7 and you watch it now nationally on social media, you're seeing kids catch passes and do backflips. You're seeing kids catch passes and take selfies. You're seeing kids pick balls off and do elaborate celebrations. You're seeing kids, you know, after a touchdown, you're seeing 40 kids empty the bench and run and do an elaborate celebration in the end zone. Are we really teaching kids what they're going to be able to do in a game? The first time you do that in a game, that's going to be a 15-yard penalty, possible personal foul. Now you risk getting kids thrown out of a game. Why are we going to allow kids to do things that they cannot do in a game? Now, I understand that it's fun, and I understand that that's what it's come to. So if you don't let your kids do that, the hardest problem we always had is our kids would say, well, coach, look at those kids going crazy. I don't coach those kids, I coach you. All right, so if their coach wants to let them do that, that's on them. Okay, but you know, if we're trying to develop a mindset, how we play football, how we respect the game of football, how we respect our opponent, how we respect our school, how can we do that if a couple months out of the year, even though we know, hey guys, this is just for fun, and you know, hey, it's only 7-on-7, yeah, I get all that stuff, and yeah, I want my kids to have fun too, but all of a sudden now, if you start doing that, what's going to stop you from scoring a touchdown in a game and doing a backflip? What's going to stop you from scoring a touchdown in a game and the bench emptying for kids? Kids don't know any different. That's what they've been doing the last 4 months. That's probably what they're going to do when they get on the field. It's the same thing we talk about with offense, defense, or coaching. Work on habits. You develop habits every day. Good ones, bad ones, but you develop habits. You will do and become what you are habitually. It's your choice every day. So if you're going to develop habits, why not develop good ones? Okay, so 7-on-7 has good qualities, 7-on-7 has bad qualities, 7-on-7 to me has some ugly qualities, all right? But if you're going to get involved in stuff like that, probably going to have to let your kids have a little bit of fun, all right? Because unless you have your kids completely reined in, and if you do, God bless you, and you've done a great job with your culture, they're going to see these kids doing other things, and then they're going to get taunted, and they're going to get talked down to, and they're going to get backflipped in their face, and then they're going to score a touchdown and flip the ball to the ref. And if you can get to that point of the program, I think you've got a great program. And if your kids can do that and stay without leaving, then I think you got a great program. Because the other thing you got to worry about is if the kids aren't having fun, they're going to go somewhere and say, well, coach, that coach lets us wear what we want, and he lets us do what we want. And so, you know, it's that battle all the time. Same thing if you're a parent. I have 2 daughters. If you're a parent, you have kids. Can't tell your kids, well, it's okay what those kids do because their parents let them do that. If their parents let them stay out till 3 in the morning, that's their parents. That's not us. If their parents let them not do their homework or not study for tests, that's them, not us. So same thing as raising kids. Try to bring in as many different mindsets for you as I can, whether it's golf, raising kids. It's all the same theory. All right, create habits, create good habits. Make sure you understand within your program, your kids understand that this is how we do things and this is how I coach you. You don't play for anybody else. You play for me. Find a way to have fun so your kids can have fun, but I don't think you necessarily need to have fun in that manner because I think it creates some bad habits. All right, so if you're out there doing 7-on-7, it's definitely going to help the skill set of your kids, definitely going to help your quarterbacks, definitely going to help your receivers. I think it helps your running backs. I think it helps your linebackers, your DBs. I think it's good. I think it's definitely better than doing nothing. All right. If you had your choice, my opinion would be go out there and do 7-on-7 with other coaches that you don't play during the season and other coaches that you trust enough to say, hey, can we work on this where we go 8 plays, and we work on sets that we're going to run, or let's talk about what we're going to do and how much motion we're going to use, how much empty are you going to be, what are you going to play 1 high or 2 high, how much man, how much zone. You know, can we actually work some things out to where this is a valuable period for both of us and our kids? If you're doing it that way, then I think you get the best of both worlds, and it's a perfect case scenario. Kids are getting better, you're getting skill work in, they're off the street, they're with you, and you're working on things that you're going to see in game situations. Your coverages against pro sets or twin sets or things that you're actually going to see. I think everybody benefits from that. So in a perfect world, that's where I would like to see 7-on-7 go. All right, but it's not a perfect world. It's out there. People are doing it. You know what's going on. Kids think that they're getting major exposure and offers from 7-on-7. I tend to disagree, but you know, try and explain that to 15, 16-year-old kids that think they know about recruiting and what's going on. So it's an ongoing battle that we're going to have to keep fighting. I think the best thing to do is find the best way to use it, find the best way to use it properly, marry all those worlds together so everybody can get better. All right, guys, hope this video helps a little bit. Just an opinion, nothing schematic. All right, nothing, no harm, no foul. You like the video, you don't like the video, thumbs up, thumbs down. All right, interactions, comments below, anything else you'd like to see. I appreciate you guys subscribing. hit that subscribe button, hit the notifications. For some reason, people on YouTube track that little bell that rings. So if you click that notification button and you hit that little bell that rings, I'm not smart enough to know what it does, but I understand for you, if you subscribe, put your notifications on, you'll know when I put videos out. All right, remember guys, as always, you won't play well till you play fast. I'll catch you guys next time.